Hey, welcome to another episode of the Not Scrum Done podcast. I'm your co-host, Adriana Marshall. That's my amazing co-host.
Grand Scrum Master Scott. Greetings, everybody.
Today, we're going to be talking about what the difference is between a product manager and a product owner. And I'll give you the spoil alert immediately, which is a product owner is an accountability that anyone can take up on the Scrum team. A product manager is a job title that has clear rolled guidelines for whatever company that is. Today, we're going to be talking about a little bit of what does a Scrum guide say about a product owner? What does the industry say about a product manager? And then talk about our real world experience with what a product manager does and then what a product owner and a product manager do when you have both roles at a company. We'll go through both of those. First up, let's talk about what is the product owner accountability per the Scrum guide. Scott?
Yeah, I love starting there at the Scrum Guide, create an operational definition, but the product owner is a single person responsible for maximizing the value of the product from the work of the Scrum team. This involves defining and communicating the product goals, managing the product backlog. It requires stakeholder management. Now, in the Scrum Guide, stakeholders is a blanket word to mean those people outside of the Scrum team. What I would recommend is to talk to your team members and identify what do we mean by stakeholders. Yeah, we know that's people outside the Scrum team, but even go a little bit more specific than that. Are we talking about internal people that could be our stakeholders, or is that external people outside of the Scrum team and the organization? And the product owner is ultimately responsible for the decision making on that particular product that's connected to the product backlog. Just a few of the things of the product owner.
For product manager, what typically is required in the industry is market research and strategy. They determine the product lifecycle management, so they oversee the entire product lifecycle from ideation to the end of it, if there is an end, depending on what product. Making decisions about product features, pricing, and positioning. There's business alignment, aligning the product development with the company's business goals and objectives. They make sure that there is cross functional leadership. They lead across different teams. So that's development, marketing, sales, support to deliver the product, the full product strategy. They are responsible for stakeholder and customer engagements. They engage with external customers, stakeholders, getting feedback that could be also a part of market research, getting surveys, doing focus groups, and just managing relationships with key partners and vendors. That's just some of the things that both the product owner and the product manager do. Let's talk about what this looks like in the real world. I think there are two different scenarios that we're both really familiar with. And the first one being where the product manager, the job role, fulfills the product owner accountability in Scrum. So, what does that actually look like? They're accountable for essentially all those things: defining and communicating the product goal, managing the product backlog, stakeholder management, decision making, maximizing the product value, market research and strategy, product lifecycle management, making sure the business is aligned. That includes working with sales and marketing and go to market teams, making sure that this product launches successfully into the right stores in different places, and then making sure that they're cross-functional across different leadership avenues, so including development, marketing, sales, and support to make sure that they deliver the product strategy. I will say that this is very challenging. This is actually talked about a lot in the book, The Professional Product Owner by Scrum.org. It's a fantastic book where it talks about the Agile product manager, which is essentially what I'm describing, and some other details that it talks about is like the product roadmap and planning as well, that the Agile product manager has to do to achieve their role. I will say for me, this is the most common that I see. You don't see many job titles that say product owner. You will see a lot that say product manager. And I get this question a lot in the classes that I teach. What's the difference between those? A lot of companies, when you see product manager, the companies are expecting you to also fulfill that product owner role. It's included in that. So you have to really be careful when you're looking at the job titles and having that understanding. Now, I've definitely worked at a company where they did both. They had a product owner and a product manager. So was Scott. And Scott, you'll tell us a little bit about of your experience in that and what that looks like.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely, Adriana. Yes, in my experiences, has been both. I've had a situation where we had the product owner and a product manager. All the things we've said up until this particular point, I had my local product owner that was there on the team to deal with the day-to-day technical stuff. But at some point in time, when it comes to like monthly releases, then that's when we would go talk to the product manager, would be more on the scene at that particular point in time, because we need that person to do technical stuff more on a strategic company-wide level. And this environment is typical in banking industry and retail, are the two industries in which I'm talking about. Well, not all of retail. I'm speaking of grocery store chains retail, but mostly banking has this particular setup, and because their releases are not as much as, let's say, some other companies, because less regulatory compliances and things of that nature. But yeah, that would be a couple of situations that I have there. The product owner is there on the team day to day, and the product manager is more of a support person to the Scrum team. The product owner has, let's say, limited decision making ability. If it goes, let's say, out of some type of scope, then of course that approval will have to be by the product manager. But yeah, those have been my experiences in terms of that particular environment.
We talked about the differences on what it means per the Scrum Guide and the job title version. A lot of times it depends on the industry whether there's going to be two separate roles for product owner and product manager. Also, my experience working mostly like software companies, startups, and some of the larger companies, they typically only have the product manager job title, but you're expected to work with the team and manage the backlog and different things like that, which is essentially just assuming the product owner role. There are some industries out there, banking and retail, where you do have both the product owner and the product manager job title, and the differences are actually split up. There's a quick recap. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe. You're probably not subscribed. Most people watching are not subscribed. So make sure that you subscribe. You can also join our newsletter for exclusives that we'll be sending out to those that are on our email list. And if you want to learn more from us, you can connect with us on LinkedIn and request videos that you'd like to see or questions that you have, and we can turn those into videos. And you can also join one of our official scrum.org classes. If you made it to the end of this video, that means you have an attention span greater than a goldfish.
Be legendary, everyone, but not Scrum dumb. See you in the next episode.